Hey guys, I'm Josh, and this week I'm just joshing around with Camouflage painting a rifle. But it's not a dart rifle, it's a real rifle. So here we go.
Camouflage. It can be used for the forces of good or the forces of evil. Everything I know about camouflage I've learned from the movie Predator, which has nothing to do with the rest of this video. But anyway, it's still a really cool movie. Since I don't have any highly advanced alien technology, and I don't really want to smear this gun all over with mud, I am going to paint it. But first, before I paint it, I've got to take it apart, and removing 3 screws makes that pretty easy. I'm just going to take this barrel and scope and set it aside and clean up this stock a little bit before I get it prepped. To prep it, I'm just using some masking tape to guard all the areas where I don't want any paint to end up. Believe it or not, I've never actually done any camo painting on a real gun. I've done it on some paintball guns before, but what you're seeing here is me learning as I go along. What I'm trying to do here is mask off all of the areas where any of the mechanical operations of the gun take place, such as the clip sliding up into it or the trigger mechanism. I don't want the paint to interfere with the operation of the gun in any way. And I'm taping off the butt of the stock because it's made of rubber and the paint won't stick, plus it'll just look cooler with having contrast of black against the camo. And right here I'm just using some fine grit sandpaper to rough up the stock so it'll receive the paint a little better. Here is the assortment of paints that I'm going to be using. The tall can on the left is actually what I'm going to be putting on for the base coat. Normally when I paint any gun, I paint it with a coat of primer first, but this paint actually is paint and primer in one, so it actually did a pretty good job. What you're seeing here is my first attempt at applying a camo pattern. I was trying to use this grill rack to put like a mesh pattern on, but it looked really stupid. And this is attempt number 2. This is actually a liner out of my toolbox that I was trying to put like a different sort of pattern on the gun, and it also looked really stupid. So I just went ahead and painted back over that. For the third attempt, I actually went out and clipped a bunch of little pieces off of shrubs out in my yard because this is mid-November and all the trees have lost all their foliage. Just a little side note, if you happen to be driving by my house and see me out there in the dark clipping shrub pieces off, I apologize because it was probably really creepy. I couldn't help it. It was 5:30 and it was already dark because daylight savings time is a nightmare. Seriously, I hate daylight savings. It really screws up everything. It's like I work 12-hour shifts, and when I get out of work, it's dark already? That's depressing. I mean, what is this, Alaska? It's not 30 days of night here, for crying out loud. Anywho, these little stencils that I'm using are actually an assortment of foliage that I clipped off of shrubs in my yard, including forsythia and some cedar or something, and azalea. And something else. Peony, that's what it was. Yeah. And they work pretty well, I thought, anyway. Like I said, I've only ever done any sort of camo painting like one other time, and it was on a paintball gun and paintball mask, and I had kind of mixed results with that. So I was pretty happy with how this was turning out so far. It looked a lot better than that stupid mesh that I did to begin with. Now this paint job actually evolved as it went along, but I was pretty happy with it after the several attempts that I had at the beginning. where it would just look really stupid. Overall, I was pretty satisfied with the end result. Now it's time to reassemble the gun. I used some WD-40 to go ahead over any of the spots that had any residue from the tape, or even on the barrel where it had a couple little rusty spots, and just clean it up a little bit. I was actually pretty surprised at how easily this gun came apart. Like I said, it was only 3 screws holding this thing together, and just taking those out, it made the painting process a lot easier. So naturally, putting it back together was pretty easy as well. And here is the completed product, all reassembled. All the black areas are really nice contrast to the camo, I think. Now this isn't a super fancy paint job like I've done in the past, but it's kind of an experiment for me, and I'm pretty happy with the results.
Well, that does it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I enjoyed doing it. It's always fun to try new things. I know this video is a little bit different this week, but I do like a different challenge, and I'm pretty happy with how this thing turned out. If you guys happen to have any suggestions on any projects that you would like to see me do, please feel free to leave them in the comments or send me a message on Facebook, whatever method works best for you. I'll try to get to it when I can, and see how it turns out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.